medium or high inclines, but obviously the incline will be different, okay? So if I'm doing a low incline Smith bench, I want an incline something like this, which is relatively low down, okay? If I'm doing a medium incline, obviously I go somewhere a little bit higher. If I was going for a high incline, I would maybe move even higher still, okay? The exact degrees are arbitrary. They're not massively important. As long as you know that a low incline is low, a medium incline is somewhere in the middle, and a higher incline is relatively high, okay? The exact degrees will vary from person to person, Smith machine to, or bench to bench, person to person, okay? There's a lot of different things that'll go into it, okay? So, what you're gonna do in this here is before you actually grab the bar and unrack it, you're going to test your shoulder flexibility. You're gonna see where you naturally can bring your elbows down, okay? Now this will change depending on the incline you're on. So if I was, for example, using a lower incline like I am now, I will find that I'm able to get my arms much lower down more comfortably. So if the bar was in my hand, I can get that bar much lower down to the chest comfortably with my shoulder flexibility and my chest flexibility, okay? To about here. So I can see there without an external weight, I can get nearly to the bar to the chest. As I would get up higher, however, so let's say I was sitting on an incline around here. Now if I go down, I'll notice I start to get stuck around here. So because of obviously the changing angle and rotation of your arm, you will find that on different inclines, you will have a different range of motion. A lower incline, you'll probably have a bigger range. As you go up higher, you may find that you can only get it as far as your nose or even higher, okay? So you do need to be aware of that, okay? Sit down on whatever incline you're on, and before you do the movement, not just the first time you perform this exercise, but every time you do it, on the day that you're doing it, sit down in the machine, put your hands up, do this. And wherever you feel you get naturally stuck, that is your end range. So where I am there at the moment, I can feel, okay, around here. So around the line of, say, my chin or teeth, okay? Being off by an inch or so isn't gonna be the end of the world, okay? So, I'm gonna bring the weight down to roughly where that stopping point is, and I'm gonna come back up. What I'm gonna focus on here is two things. The first one is I'm gonna focus on not locking out the top or going all the way to the bottom. So I don't want this where it hits the chest at the bottom, and then I explode and drive it all the way up, and I lock my arms out, and I take a big rest, and then I come back down again, and I'm hitting here, and I'm back up again. That's not only gonna fucking hurt me because I'm going past my natural range of motion, I'm using a weight to force my joint beyond its capacity, but I'm also gonna take the tension off my chest, which is the prime mover of this exercise. The prime goal, okay, is the chest, the pec. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna go down to about here, back up relatively slow and controlled, back down again. Just like this, yeah? Just like that. Nice, slow, controlled movement. In terms of where your hands are gonna go width-wise, it's gonna vary from person to person. If you have a long upper arm, my upper arm is my humerus, so this bone here. If that is quite long, I will have quite a wide hand position, because what I want ideally is I want my elbow to be under my wrist when I'm at the bottom. So if I'm at the bottom of the movement, say here, if my elbow is roughly under the wrist, I'm in a relatively strong position. If I'm way out here, I'm very weak. Or if I'm way too narrow, I'm also quite weak, although I'll get a bit more tricep, but don't worry about that. So if I have a normal sort of sized upper arm or relatively short like me, my width grip is not going to be massively wide. If this bone is longer, however, my elbows are much further away over to here, for example, I will have a wider grip. So just test the first time that you do it and go down and have a quick look at your elbows and your hands and feel where they're roughly under. It does not need to be exact. It will vary from day to day and so on, but do your best. Don't have it so you're way out here or way in there, roughly underneath, okay? The final thing you want to think about now that you've got basically your width from the bar, your range of motion from the chest to the top, the speed that you're going to do the movement, pretty much everything you're going to need. The only other thing you want to think about is where it's going to land on your chest. I do not want to be so far back this way that the bar is down on my lower belly here, okay, and my elbows are way behind me. But I also don't want to be so far forward where this is coming up at my head. It's much, much too high, okay? So you do want to experiment by just pushing the bench up and down a few times, and you'll have to test where it is. So see, if I go down here, I can go, okay, I need to move up a wee bit, maybe another wee touch, and then I can find through experimentation where it's going to be. So don't just jump down in the bench, throw it anywhere, and then stick your hands wherever you want. Hand position matters. How far you can get your elbows down and how far you move the bar matters, and then ultimately how far forward or back matters as well. As you do them more frequently, you'll become better at it and you'll get used to it, but the first couple of times, don't expect to get it just right. It will take a bit of experimenting to figure out what shape will fit you.